Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to An Italian in My Kitchen. I'm Erica and today we are going to make sun-dried tomato and olive bread. It's a quick bread so it has no yeast in it and super easy to make. Everybody's going to love this one. It has sun-dried tomatoes and olives, as we already said, and a few other spices. But before we make that bread, we are going to make another recipe, which is sun-dried tomatoes. So you can just make these at home without having to buy them. You just need fresh tomatoes. So let's go and start the recipe. We're back in our kitchen to make our first sun-dried tomatoes of the year. Honestly, I don't even know why we've waited so long to make these, but better late than never, I guess. And to start, we're going to cut about 20 ripe San Marzano tomatoes in half lengthwise. And before we forget, preheat the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
And then drizzle 1 or 2 baking sheets with some olive oil. We used a brush to get the oil all over the pan. If you haven't finished cutting your tomatoes, now it's the time to go back and do that, because the next step is to place those halves on the baking sheet with the cut side facing up.
Bake them in the oven for about 20 minutes, then lower the temperature to 300 degrees Fahrenheit and continue to bake for 1 to 2 hours or until ready. It took us quite a bit to get to the dry stage we wanted the tomatoes to be, so continue baking them until it feels right. We really like the crunchy crust, so we got them to that level of dryness before taking them out of the oven, and then we let them cool. Our tomatoes are now cool, so we're going to take a few of them and put them aside for our bread that we're going to make, while the others we are going to follow the recipe for the sun-dried tomatoes, and we're gonna go from there.
We got all of our ingredients ready, like chopping the garlic, measuring the spices, and then we got medium-sized bowl and placed the tomatoes into it. We added 4 or 5 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of basil, half teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1-2 pinches of hot pepper flakes, and 1 clove of garlic chopped. Mix everything together and look how beautifully these ingredients go together. You know how to really enjoy these tomatoes? We will show you.
Take some bread, slice it, toast it, and then place a couple of sun-dried tomatoes on top. Drizzle them with some more olive oil, a pinch of salt, and bite into it. What do you think? We're ready to make these tomatoes again since we ate them all in one sitting with no regrets.
Okay, time for our bread recipe. Fast forward one day, hence the wardrobe change, and we're ready to go. Take a loaf pan and spray it with some baking spray or line with parchment paper and put it aside. Preheat the oven to 340 degrees Fahrenheit before we forget. Again.
Chop your beautiful sun-dried tomatoes, half a cup to be precise, and then take a small bowl which already contains half a cup of olives chopped, and place the tomatoes in there as well. Mix them together and put the bowl aside.
Now we're taking a medium bowl with 260 grams of all-purpose flour. Into this we're going to add half teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half teaspoon of oregano, basil and salt, and 3 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese, and then whisk everything together as per usual and put the bowl aside.
Take a large bowl and in it we're going to add 3 eggs, 81 grams of Greek yogurt, 1 1/4 tablespoon of milk, and 2 1/2 tablespoons of olive oil. Whisk the mix together until it becomes nice and smooth. Now we're going to add the flour mixture to the egg mixture a little at a time, and we're going to use a wooden spoon to fold it to prevent lumps from forming, and mix it just until combined.
Then we added our olives and tomatoes to the mix. Fold gently, since the tomatoes are very delicate and they break easily. The last step before baking is to transfer the mix into our loaf pan. It looks like a big blob, but trust me, you will see some magic happen. Bake it for about 40 minutes and then let it cool.
And voila, we have our sun-dried tomato and olive bread. It cuts so well. It's a savory, quick bread, perfect for summer sandwiches. Buon appetito! So we finished our sun-dried tomatoes and olive bread recipe. So now we're gonna try it. So we already cut it. And look at how nice it is inside. It has the olives, it has the sun-dried tomatoes, it has a little bit of those herbs and spices we put inside. It's really cute, and look at the crust on top. So now it's time for the taste test. It's super cool because it's like eating a sandwich made of bread, but it also tastes almost like pizza. It's really good. I do suggest you make it and you try it because it's worth it. So we hope you enjoyed this recipe. Let us know in the comments below what you think of it. And remember to subscribe if you already aren't, and like the video. And we will see you in the next one. Bye!
Ecco qua.